Do you have a message from...
As a court, we received a message from Mr. Mngomezulu that he's unwell.
That what?
That he's unwell. That he had a health episode last night, and that Advocate Mxolisi, he has requested Advocate Mxolisi to stand in for him.
Is that so, sir?
Yes, that is the position. He called me early in the morning in form of some not being well.
Some?
He indicated that he's not well to attend court today and requested me to stand in for him. I've also communicated this to Mr. Sibia.
So at least we can make progress.
Yes, my lord.
Did you read? So yesterday somebody phoned me, it's a judge, he phoned me about the report in the Sowetan, where the editorial, they say it's a mockery of justice, the way we are going on. You didn't read that? Anybody who read that?
I read that.
You read that?
In fact, I've just discussed that with colleagues from the media.
Am I correct when I say they say it's a mockery of justice?
Yes, this
Actually, they want to say it's a travesty
of
justice, if you know English.
Yes.
Because they say, stop and start, and what have you, and what have you?
Yes.
And we don't know what we are doing. That's what they say.
Yes.
Scary but do knows. Yeah. Okay.
But they did acknowledge that progress has been made in the matter.
No, you know why I'm laughing? There are cases in South Africa, 20 years. There's one today. It's been on the roll for 20 years. It's in Pietermaritzburg, we all know.
Yes.
I've been here for a year.
Yes.
And they say I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, fine.
I can also attest, my lord, that the Buremak trial went on for 11 years.
Yeah, I know.
Yes.
I was still here.
Yes.
But I didn't understand that the editorial to mean that we don't know what we're doing. I think they acknowledge that it is not an ordinary case, and that sometimes the delays depend on the complexity of the case.
No, fine, it's okay. Every person is entitled to his or her opinion, but at least the opinion must be factually based.
Yes. I think they were more concerned about systematic, delays, like the change in presiding officers,
Okay.
miscommunication between us and the defense and so on.
Okay, fine. You still under oath? Are we proceeding with the cross-examination? Where's Mr. Ramosepele?
I'm here, my lord.
Yeah, you can go on, sir.
As the court pleases, my lord, I'm indebted.
Yeah.
Now, Colonel, last afternoon when we adjourned, I asked you a question and we went on some explanation, but I think the answer was lost in translation. I asked you whether in your office, have you given your findings to, or your examination and comparison to a peer reviewer who differed with your opinion? Has that happened?
Uthathile yini imiphumela oyitholile wanika lo mbiko kwabanga ubhekisisa abawuhlolisise kuthiwa phecelezi peer reviewer?
My lord, as I've answered yesterday, I said I gave it to 4 of my colleagues and all of them agreed to my findings.
Njengoba sengishilo-ke ngithe ngiwunike umbiko wami kwengisebenza nabo abane ukuthi bonke bayavumelana nombiko wami.
Yeah, Colonel, but what I'm asking you, I'm not speaking specifically about this case. I'm saying, in your experience, the 29 years or so as a ballistic expert, and now as a senior specialist in that office, have you given your work in another case, not this case in particular, where you, for example, your finding was one of inclusion, that is a match, and then you gave to somebody who peer-reviewed and said it's an elimination or it's inconclusive. Has that happened?
Angikuzeli leli cala phela ngibuza nje ukuthi njengoba uwuchwepheshe oneminyaka eyama-29 wakwanika yini imiphumela yakho oyitholile abanye ukuthi bayihlolisise?
My lord, as I can recall, there's no case that I did where we differed. In some instances where there's differences, where maybe I made it positive and somebody said, but I'll make it inconclusive. But not where I made it positive and somebody made it negative. It has never happened with me.
And in simple terms, as we established yesterday, inconclusive means doubtful. Either it is or it is not. So you cannot positively say it is the firearm that fired this bullet, or you cannot positively say it's the firearm that did not fire this bullet. Is that correct?
My lord, in the sense that when you say inconclusive, it might be that you are saying all the class characteristics are there, but I cannot see the individual, or I cannot see sufficient individuals. Unlike when you say it's inconclusive, and I don't see any, well, you say I don't see any, meaning it can be negative.
No, I'm not speaking about in that term. So remember, I went with you through 2 examples yesterday where I say, let's say, for example, in our expert's conclusion, he says this, he sees discernible matching class characteristics. He doesn't say he doesn't see any. And he says further, I also see individual characteristics, but they are not of the threshold that is required for me to conclude that there is sufficient agreement. Therefore, I'm going to come to a conclusion that is inconclusive.
As long as you say, my lord, there is sufficient, there is agreement.
Yes.
When you say there is agreement,
Yes.
you can see the similarities.
Yes.
If they're not sufficient for you, they're not sufficient for you.
Yes.
But now, for me, if I'm saying I see this, the individual characteristics, which indicates to me that this is positive, I'll make it positive.
Lochwepheshe wethu ushilo ukuthi yena khona kubonayo ukubonayo sengathi kuyacacisa kahle futhi uyawazi uthatha isinqumo esibonakalayo bese phendula ukuthi yebo kunjalo kodwa-ke mina-ke engikubonayo ukuthi nginika iy'mpawu engibona sengathi zilingene ukuthi zingangitshela ukuthi yebo lokho kubekiwe lana nanoma kubonakala kodwa-ke akucaci kuvele kahle.
Hence, I said, when we were talking about your training, your experience, and your background, I made this proviso, or the rider, that determination of a conclusion, whether an inclusion, elimination, inconclusive, or insufficient for determination, it's made based on your training, experience, and background. But further, the important rider is that test, that determination is subjective. So it's subjective to you that this is positive, it's got 6, now you've added 1, it's got 7 matching striae. He says it's inconclusive because I see the class characteristics that match to the T, but the striae do not match for me enough to make a determination that is a match. So the test is subjective. That's the basis of my question.
ukuthi ama-test la asetshenziswayo wenza ngale ndlela le oqeqeshwe ngayo kodwa-ke ekugcineni i-test eyenziwayo igcina kuwukuthi-ke incike kakhulu ekutheni umuntu ubona kanjani ngoba kusho ukuthi omunye angabona ngenye indlela kodwa-ke incike ekutheni umuntu ubona kanjani.
Sorry.
Yes.
You say that the test is subjective.
Yes.
Meaning even the result is subjective.
The results are subjective as well.
You know, if you look at my eyes,
Yes.
I was reading 5 books
Yes.
on ballistics.
Yes.
I can just tell you,
Yeah.
they say the test is scientific.
My lord.
No, fine, we don't argue. I'm just saying the books on which I was piercing on, they say it is scientific. But if you say it's subjective, and then you exclude scientific, fine. But I'm just saying that's what they say.
My lord, they say the test is based on 2 labs. One is the scientific part, but
See, at least you are including
yes,
scientific
and
now.
scientific and also subjective.
Yeah,
and
fine.
I refer the court to...
No, fine, we're agreed. If you say
yes,
scientific and subjective,
yes, yes.
I don't have a problem.
Okay, thank you,
But
madam.
you said subjective.
Okay, all
Meaning
right.
this plot, Mokotling.
Okay.
If he says it's right, it is right.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes. Now, let me go back to the test and the comparison and the findings of Captain Sereo that you said he worked on TB4 and TB8, and therefore he looked at the striations there, and then he confirmed that there was also a match, thereby verifying your conclusions, your findings, correct?
That's correct, my lord.
Kunjalo ukuthi usetshenziswa uthe kukhona lokho okusetshenziswayo TB4 no-TB8 lokho kuveza-ke izimpawu ezithize ezikwenza ukuthi afikele esinqumeni afika kusona.
Now, I want to find out, Colonel, from the 8 tests that you conducted, you marked them TB3 to TB10, correct?
That's correct, my lord.
Kanti-ke ama-test lawo enzelayo 8 wamake ukuthi TB3 kuye ku-TB10 wajiyela kunjalo.
Now, of those 8 tests, which ones were marked, which ones were FMJ bullets? Was it 3, was it 4, was it 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10? Which ones were FMJs?
Ama-test lawo enzile maphi-ke la ahambelana no-FMJ awuhlobo le-FMJ.
My lord, I can't recall which ones I've marked them TV3 to TV10, unless if I have to check them first.
Angikwazi ukuthi ngisho nje ngingazange ngihlole ukuthi ma angikhumbuli nje ngekhaya.
It's imperative for us that you check, because I want to verify some aspect with you on that. So it's important that we know which ones were FMJs in those tests that you conducted.
Balulekile ukuthi uhlole ngoba ufuna ukwazi ukuthi mapha FMJ.
Understood, Jen.
No, my lord, it will be very quick. Now, TB7 and TB8 are the FMJs. Okay.
TB7 and TB8 yibona ka FMJ.
Thank you, Colonel. You know the reason why I'm asking you which ones were FMJ? You stated that warrant officer, rule officer, has fired TB1, TB2, which are FMJs, correct?
That's correct.
This is that you said TB1?
TB1 and TB2.
TB1 and TB2.
And then you also fired FMJs from PNP, if I understood very well. And then you sent that, or you determined that the FMJs do not impart sufficient marks where you can make a comparison because they are a harder compound bullet. Is that correct?
That's correct.
FMJ our she's about this is in
Now here we see there's a combination of 7 and 8, the combination which is FMJ, and yet Serrero made a combination tests, which are 4, we know that it's a CMJ, and 8 now, we know that it's an FMJ. You understand where I'm going to? Because the FMJ, you said number 8, TB8, doesn't impart sufficient marks to make a conclusion that you can make an identification, whether a match, elimination, or whatever, because it's a harder compound. Yet Serrero goes to the harder compound and says, I have found also matches on that bullet.
Number 4, ACMJ, ngoba I found in the number 7 or 8, which are in ayinazo izimpawu ezifana nalezi zika-FMJ, kodwa phela also usitholile iy'mpawu yena kuyena lo 7 no 8.
My lord, it does not mean if it's FMJ, it won't produce any marks. It will produce some of the marks.
Yes.
But the marks on, even if you can shoot 2 FMJs,
yes,
one after the other, their marks will not be exactly. Some of it you will see that, you can see that, but they are fainting somewhere. So it depends on how the marks were transferred to that bullet. You can get the same type of bullets shot in the same firearm. One has more clear marks, but the other one does not have more clear marks.
Actually, akukho la okungabikhona nezimpawu nanoma ukuthi ama-FMJ amabili yebo angeke kube afane ngemishini kodwa kukhona la ukuzosalela okubonakalayo ukwazi ukuthi ufundeke lokho nje kunike ekutheni ukuthi hayi kudependa nje ukuthi ukusetshenziswa uhlobo lenjani lwesibhamu.
Now, if I understand your explanation now, all that you are saying is that marks are not consistently transferred or imparted to the bullet. Is that my understanding of your answer?
That's correct, Malo. That's why we don't shoot one test. You shoot 2 or more tests if you're doing a comparison. So that the other bullet, if it doesn't have the clearer mark, you can use the next one to do that. In this instance, that's why I used a number of them, so that I can do a lot of comparison on those other bullets.
Sorry, how many did you shoot?
I shot 8.
8.
That's correct, Malo.
Okay.
noma nje sihlolela ukuthi sikwazi ukuthi siqhathanise asidubuli kanye kodwa sidubula kaningi athi-ke ekugcineni udubuleke ehlandla ezingabe ziyisishiyagalombili ukuze akwazi ukuthola umphumela obonakalayo.
And on that score, is that an industry standard that says how many, a minimum of tests that you must fire to make an examination and comparison and a maximum, or are you allowed to shoot until the zenith you find is a mark that you are looking for?
Athi-ke kukhona yini into esetshenziswayo kuwonke ukuthi-ke kuhlolwe ukuthi uma ufuna ukuhlola udubula mhlawumbe khona isibalo elibekelwe sona ukuthi udubule kangaka noma udubula nje wena kaninginingi uze ufike la wena onenelisekayo ukuthi ya cha lezi mpawu ufuna uzibona udubulile.
My lord, the minimum that we shoot is 2 in the firearm, but the maximum, we don't have a maximum that you can shoot only up to this. It will depends on you if you are satisfied with the mark that you found in your test.
Athi hayi kusho ukuthi-ke siqala la ekutheni sidubule kabili kodwa kukho-ke la kuthiwa-ke khona usudubule kaningi kakhulu kusho ukuthi-ke sidubula size sineliseke ukuthi cha imiphumela lesifuna ukuyibona iyabonakala.
Now coming to this test of Serewo and pertaining especially to TB8, as I said yesterday, and I accept your explanation to say, the main case is yours. You are the one that is making the examination, the comparison, and the finding. Serewo only reviews your work and he comes to his own findings. But now my issue is this. If you did not find sufficient marks on 8, it goes back to my question of yesterday to say, whilst I understand that the reviewer does not make charts like you have made charts for the court here, is it acceptable for us to go and ask Serewo to make charts for us so that we can see the marks that he set is on 8, so that our expert also can go and verify the same number 8 again and see if he can find marks that are consistent and that are meet the threshold of a match?
Asukela ukuthi kusho ukuthi-ke wena njengoba-ke uhlolile-ke wena uthe wena akukho impawu ezibonakalayo ezilingene kunumber 8. Singambuza njengoba wena uze wazosibonisa-ke amatshathi ngawonke singamtshela yini ukuthi sona asenzele kanjalo azosibonisa lo matshathi.
My lord, it's not that I failed to make a positive ID on the test with the 8 or in 4.
Yes.
I chose 5 and 9 when I did that because I saw better marks on 5 and 9. And if Serewo was doing the same test, he saw better marks on 4 and 8. So I cannot say that because Serewo, I used 5 and I must give him strictly 5 and 8 to compare it.
Angizange ngihluleke ukuthi ngwenze kahle umsebenzi wami. Mina ngikhethe nje ukuthi ngibheke kunumber 5 number 9 ngoba lapho ngibone iy'mpawu engibone manje ngibheka ngabona sengathi zibonakala kahle. Userewo umsebenzi ku-4 number 8 ngoba yena naye ubone ukuthi iy'mpawu zibonakala kahle lapho ku-4 kodwa kube ngasebenzisa lezi engiyisebenzisile nami ukuze kubonakala into efanayo.
Hence my point when I asked the question about subjectivity, that although scientific, the second level is subjectivity. On the subjective level, on number 8, you didn't see sufficient marks. Serewo sees sufficient marks on 8. Hence, I alluded to the test of subjectivity as well, the criteria of subjectivity when you're doing the comparison.
Umbiko unike kutheni umuntu ubona kanjani ngoba wena kunumber 8 awuzange ubone kunempawu ezilingene userewo ukuthi ubheke kunumber 8 wabona-ke kunezimpawu ezilingene ukuthi zinganika umphumela obonakalayo ukuthi yikho-ke nje ngithe mina angibuze ukuthi lokhu kuncike kutheni umuntu ubona kanjani yini noma.
As a good policeman, I don't think that's what the witness said.
Yeah,
The
no.
proposition is put that he didn't see sufficient marks, but the witness says he saw better marks. The two concepts are not the same.
But no, the one, Mr. Ramosepele,
Yes, sir.
just be clear.
Yes.
Are you imputing to the witness that he directed Serewo or Sefularo
Yes.
to 4 and 8?
No. The witness said yesterday, my lord, already.
No, I'm talking about
okay.
now.
Okay.
That's how you pose the question. As opposed to Serewo himself choosing out of his own free will 4 and 8. What is your real question?
My lord, I stick by the answer that he gave yesterday. I gave
But I'm
Serewo
asking the
3 and
question,
8 yesterday. Serewo,
No, forget about yesterday.
Yes.
I'm asking you now.
Now, it's still the same.
What
Serewo had 8 bullets. He selected for 8 himself. He selected himself, Serewo, not the colonel directing Serewo to 4 and
Yeah,
8.
so he didn't direct.
Yes.
That's it, fine.
Yes.
That's clear now.
My lord, as I said, I fired 8 tests. I compared them. I chose 5 and 9 to make an ID on it,
Yes.
and took all the 8 of them, gave it to Lieutenant Colonel
Yes.
Serewo to do his comparison. With all those 8, he chose 4 and 8. So I cannot say for him, you must choose 5 and 9 because I used 5 and 9.
Yeah.
I gave him all of them. So it's his choice whether he chose 5 and 8, or you could have chose any other. He chose 5 and 8, and he used them for comparison.
4 and 8
and he
is
came
not
to the same conclusions. Okay.
Njengoba ngishilo mina kavezo 8 and then ngathi uma sengithathile lezi zinto mina ngikhethe number 8 and 9 ngoba ngibona sengathi impawu ziyabonakala ngase nginika ke zonke lezi zinto ukhethisela naye wathi mase thathile yena wasekhetha number 4 and 8 and ngitshela ukuthi akakhethi iziphi na.
And when you gave him the 3 to 10, TB1, I mean TB3 to 10, did you tell him that you have an inclusion, a match, not on a specific 5 to 9, but did you tell him I've got a match amongst these 3 to 8?
Manje ngimtshelile yini kulezi zinto kumnika ukuthi kukhona la engibona khona ukuthi khona impawu ezithima siqhathaniswa zibe nokufana.
My lord, I did my comparison. After doing my comparison, after I came to the conclusion that this bullet is positive to this, I just gave them the test and the bullet to him, said, can you confirm this microscope for me? And I left him alone. So he did all the testing alone. And after he came to the conclusion, he came to me and said, no, this bullet is positive with the tests.
Okay.
Njengoba nasengigcina-ke ngitholile ukuthi kukhona-ke lezi zindawo esengibona sengathi zinazo izimpawu ngase ngigcina ngasenginika-ke yena ukuthi akasidolele kodwa-ke angizange ngibe sengimtshela ukuthi no ngifuna ukuthi enze kanjena ngishiye eyedwa ukuthi yena kube uyena uzibonelayo naye kwasebona ukuthi no kulayo zinto ezayithi zikhona iy'mpawu lezi nami ngizibone kulezi ezinye izithi.
Okay, let us move on, Colonel. Yesterday you testified, or the day before, you testified that you tested other firearms besides the Beretta that was found to be eliminated, and then you tested the exhibit firearm in this case. How many other firearms did you test for this case, 63610 of 2014?
And today ibabengaki usizohlola kule test ngoba kusho ukuthi uteste ezinye ibhamu nale Beretta lehloliwe bathiwa iyakhishwa yona. Abafuna ukwazi ukuthi zingaki osihlolile osebenzisile ibhamu ukusihlola la kule test.
My lord, I tested the Beretta 92 FS compact, the same one that we're talking about. The second firearm that I tested was the 9mm Parabellum 6 Sauer with serial number uniform 385931.
You said the Beretta 92, also says the 9mm Parabellum, and the serial number U385934.
Is that all?
No, my lord. I've also received the 9mm shot CZ83, of which is negative also.
I think today the CZ83, I commissioned about.
And what are the lab numbers for the 6 hour 9mm Parabellum and the 9mm CZ83 that you eliminated?
Is it bigger in numbers of the 9mm and the CZ83?
My lord, it's the same lab number, it's the same case number. They came under the same case number.
And what were the source of origin of these two firearms? Where did they come from?
Can you rephrase the question?
Where did they come from? From whom did they come? Were you told?
I don't know, my lord, from whom were they? Because I only received them because they had the same case number. They were sent to me to be compared with this.
All right.
And in addition to that, my lord, there was a list of there was a list of 16 cases where they were requested to compare this bullet with those other exhibits from the other 16 cases. And that was done by somebody else, and all of them were negative to the bullet.
To the bullet. And do you know which cases are there? Are the case numbers mentioned there at police stations? All 16 comparisons.
It was the Sassolbeck case, 61 of 7/2015. Everton, Sassolbeck, case 61 of 7/2015. Everton case 373 of 7/2015. Of 7/2015. Everton, yeah.
Sorry, my lord, may I approach case number 2?
Yeah, fine.
The Johannesburg Central case.
gentleman are indebted to the court.
Yes, sir.
The Johannesburg case number 1254 of 7/2015.
Also transfer 1254 of 7 of 2015.
Sawbona case 316 of 6/2015.
316 of 6.
2015.
Yes, Sawbona 316 of 6 2015.
Orlando case 93 of 8/2014.
Yes, Orlando 93 of 8 2014.
GP case 843 of 3/2015.
The number of cases,
843 of 3/2015.
Kukona again, yes, GP 843 of 3 of 2015.
Jabulani case 49 of 8/2015.
Kukona again, yes, Jabulani 49 of 8 2015.
Vereeniging case 25 of 10/2015.
Yes, 25 of 12 2015.
Kwamhlanga case 83 of 3/2015.
It's the number 2.
Kwamhlanga case 83 of 3/2015.
Yes, Komhlanga, case number 83 of 3 of 2015.
Bramley case 70 of 6/2015.
Yes, April 70 of 6 of 2015.
Jamestown case 85 of 12/2014.
Yes, Jamestown 85
Of
of
12.
12 of 2014.
And Alexandra case 277 of 1/2015.
Yes, Alexander 277 of 1 2015.
Johannesburg Central 338 of 10/2015.
Number 14.
338 of 10/2015.
Yes, Johannesburg Central 338 of 10 2015.
Linden case 227 of 6/2015.
Yes, Linden 227 of 6 2015.
Johannesburg Central case 337 of 10/2015.
Yes, Johannesburg Central 327 of 10 2015.
And Kwaggafontein 48 of 7/2015.
Yes, Kwaggafontein 48 of 7 2015.
Sorry, madam, if I may take it.
So all in all, there are how many?
There are 16.
16.
16, my lord.
It's 16 plus 4 now. The Barretta which you discarded.
That's correct, yes.
And tell me something, Colonel. I'm not sure whether my question will make sense to you. Those eliminations, were they done in the lab or was it via IBIS? Can IBIS eliminate a bullet or only deals with cartridge cases? And also, before you answer, explain, just clarify to us and the court, what is IBIS and how does it work?
Well, you must clarify to the others. Me and you were here when Lupsha told us about the database called IBIS and how it works.
Yeah.
Is that not so, sir?
Yes, we were here.
Right, fine.
My lord, with the IBIS system is the integrated ballistics identification system. That system, what we do is, how we use it is, we created a database on that system where you capture the images or you acquire the images of all the cartridge cases that we have at the lab, or all the firearms that we receive. Each and every firearm that we receive, we'll shoot the test, we'll take one test, acquire it on the IBIS system for further comparison.
So again, IBIS is an integrated ballistic identification system. We should tell the sigsigcina imfanekiso yonke yazo zonke iibhamu esazithola saphinde sazihlola.
Right, in acquiring one cartridge case on the system, it can take about 10 minutes, depends on the system. If the system is slow, it will take 10 to 15 minutes to acquire one cartridge case. And if it's fast, it will take about 5 to 6 minutes to acquire one cartridge.
Kushuthi i-cartridge kusithole yodwa then uma kuwukuthi slow system kushuthi hamba thatha uthatha slow kushuthi ingathatha u 10 to 15 minutes kodwa uma kuwukuthi isebenza kahle iyasheshisa ingathatha u 5 to 6 minutes.
Right, acquiring a cartridge case on a system, meaning you acquire the whole breech face of your cartridge case. If there's a firing pin mark here, you acquire the firing pin. The ejector mark, you acquire the ejector mark. Your firing pin, you acquire the firing pin, and then you acquire the whole breech face.
Ushuthi lapho ke uma ukuthi khona la kushaya khona ipin isibhamu uthatha khona la kushaya khona ipipe isibhamu manje uma ukuthi khona la eshesele impawu zaloko ukukhipha i-cartridge esibhamini nako uthatha khona ke and then uyakwazi futhi ukuthatha sonke isithombe sayo yonke ke lephathe ngemumva kwe-cartridge.
The system will capture the image and it will compare it on a daily basis with other cases. The more cases you load, it keeps on comparing with That the comparison is done mostly after hours.
Usho ukuthi umshini ke wona kuthatha zonke lezi zintombi lezi sigcine khona la ngaphandle. Usho ukuthi ngaso sonke isikhathi uma kuwukuthi ke kukhona ungenayo emshinini uhlale ihlola ukuthi ayikho yini isithombe mhlambe esifana naloko osekufakiwe lapha emshinini. Usho ukuthi ke lo mshini lona uma sekushayisiwe uwenza ke lo msebenzi ukuthi uhlole ukuthi azikho yini izithombe ezifananayo.
Right. When it comes to bullet, my lord, you do the same thing with the bullet, but on the bullet, it requires the whole circumference of your bullet. Your bullet is still...
iyahlola nazo iy'nhlamvu kodwa ke lana-ke sithola umfanekiso we-circumference kusho ukuthi-ke indingilizi yenhlamvu.
So what we'll do is, if it starts here, it will acquire this whole groove, and it acquires the length. It comes to the next groove, acquires the groove, comes to the length until it finishes the whole bullet. So acquiring one bullet on the system, if it's slow, it will take about 30 to 40 minutes to acquire one bullet.
Ngoba-ke ithatha-ke ihlole zonke la kubheke khona ibullet kusho ukuthi-ke ihlola nje zonke lezi ndawo la edwebeke khona ibullet kusho ukuthi isithatha isikhathi eside ingathatha isikhathi esiyofikela amashumi amathathu amaminethi ngenhlamvu eyodwa.
Right. If the system is working properly, it will take about 20 minutes to acquire the whole bullet.
Kusho ukuthi-ke ukuthi ifunde yonke ibullet isystem uma isebenza kahle ingathatha-ke imizuzu amashumi amabili.
Now, because of the time that it takes to acquire the cartridge cases and the bullet, what we did at the lab, or what the management of the lab did is, with all the assault rifles and the pistols, we acquire only the cartridge cases.
Manje-ke into esesizame ukuyilungisa lapha ukuthi-ke makhulunywa ngale zebhamu enkulu sesivele ukuthi kusebenzeka kanzonyana umshini lo uvele uthathe-ke ama-cartridge cases.
Because the reason why we acquire only cartridge cases on pistols and assault rifles is every shot fired at the crime scene, the firearm will eject the cartridge case. It's most likely, in most of the cartridge cases, when of the crime scenes, we will pick up cartridge cases that we can send for acquisition.
But in isizathu-ke sokuthi si-electeni sizobheka ama-cartridge kuphela ukuthi uma isibhamu sidubula siyayihlanza i-cartridge and then futhi-ke le cartridge lena iyakwazi ukuthi itholakale esikhathini esiningi la kwenzeke khona endaweni yesigameko. Yikho-ke sisi-electeni asibheke ama-cartridge kakhulu.
But in instances where a revolver is there and like bolt actions, we acquire the bullets that come from, or the bullet tests of the revolvers and the bolt action rifles, like the 357 that are used for rhino poachings. We acquire those bullets on the systems.
Manje uma ukuthi kusetshenziswa ivolovolo ngoba ivolovolo alihlanzi i-cartridge emva kwalokho ukuthi sithatha-ke inhlamvu kube iyona inhlamvu esiyasoyihlola ngoba i-cartridge yona isala lapha esibhamini and futhi-ke uma kufana nje mhlawumbe ney'bhamu ezinjengalezi ezisetshenziswa uma kuzindelwa obhejane zohlobo lo-387 nakhona-ke hhayi sithatha iy'nhlamvu.
Right. In this case, we have only a bullet. We don't have a cartridge case. So to compare the bullet with other cases on the IBIS system, it's not going to be possible because the bullets of the 9mm pistols are not acquired on the system.
Manje-ke uma ukuthi-ke siyabheka njengoba sibheka la ngoba sibheke iy'nhlamvu ngoba ukuthi kusetshenziswe lo mhlobo isibhamu oluhlanzayo. Kusho ukuthi-ke lana esikwenzayo ukuthi nanoma sihlola iy'nhlamvu lezi umshini awukwazi ukuhlola ngaphakathi ngoba asinazo iy'thombe zenhlamvu zesibhamu eziphuzulile.
Okay, thank you, Colonel. And those tests were conducted by this lady, Yashni Belinda Paul, according to what you've just read now.
That's correct, Malo.
Okay.
Get the question again?
The tests that all the cases that he referred to, the Colonel referred to, the tests were conducted by a lady, Yashni Belinda Paul.
So-ke kuyo yonke-ke lo kuhlolo kwenziwa uYashni Belinda Paul wathi yebo.
Now, Colonel, on my last question, you testified that on the 17th of June 2020, you attended upon Pretoria North Police Station to take measurements from accused number 2. Is that correct?
That's correct, Malo.
Uthe ngomhla June 2020 uye ePretoria Pretoria North ukuthi uyohlola Maswidi ethi yebo.
And initially, when Mr. Mgomezulu examined you, you said on that morning you had met Colonel Gininda at the Pretoria North Police Station, but later in the afternoon you said you now do not remember or recall whether Colonel Gininda was there. You remember that evidence?
Yes, please, my lord. The witness has always been clear from the beginning that he did receive a call from Brigadier Gininda on the 17th of June 2020, but he never said that he met him at Pretoria North Police Station.
My Lord, I listened to the evidence when Mr. Mngomezulu was leading this witness. I'm not thumbsucking what I'm telling, the proposition that I'm putting to the court. He said in the afternoon, he said, I received a call from Colonel Gininda. First, it was Valeria in respect of accused number 1 on a different date. And then secondly, it was on the 17th of June, 2020. I received a call from Colonel Gininda to go and do the same exercise. And on that morning, I met Colonel Gininda. That's what Mr. Mngomezulu took him through.
Yeah, fine, fine.
Then after
let's
lunch,
proceed.
yes. Now,
Well, yeah,
yes.
tell me, what is the relevance of this?
The relevance of
because, wait, because this witness tells you that he's not certain.
Yes.
Is that not your qualification? I can't remember.
That's correct, Master. I said,
Yeah, but the relevance thereof, my Lord, will remember from the witnesses that were present when accused number 2 was interrogated in the boardroom on the 17th.
Yeah, so?
Accused number 2 says Gininda was there. The witnesses said not. So it's important in respect to that aspect, my Lord.
Fine, that's why I'm saying this witness says he can't remember.
Yeah.
So I can't place credence on this evidence. I can't remember.
All right, it's fine, my Lord. Then I'll leave it at that. Those are my questions for the witness, my Lord, as the court places.
What's your time, sir?
It's 10 past, my Lord, 11.
Can you come back at 1:30?